living my life. I mean, I had a good deal of pain.
But if I could do it twice, my clothes are still the only things I would change. What's up, Miss Kashuna Hopkins?
What's up?
How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah. Your energy feels very light and airy and like happy.
Man, I appreciate that.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Are you happy?
I am. I am. It's a new happy.
Okay. I like that.
It's a new happy, but I am happy.
A reimagined happy or just a completely new happy?
It's a completely new happy. Completely new happy.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. All right. Well, we're
Yeah.
going to get into it. So, but before we get into the deep philosophical aspects, just a little bit of context and history. You are one of my friends from back in the high school days.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
We're at that age now where it's like we have different categories of friends.
Yeah.
And some of those friends you've been friends with for like 10 years, and that's a long time. But then you and I, it's like we met back when we were 14, 15. And that's like, I'm not even going to do the math, but that was a long time. So this is going to be a really fun podcast because we both grew up in an environment and in a time where things were wild.
Yeah.
And we won't go into, we won't dwell in the past, but I will say that when I look at you and when I see what you're doing in the world, it just makes me happy, but also like sometimes surprised because I'm like, dang, how did we make it? And in this particular instance, how did you make it from where you were as kid from the East Side to Kashuna Hopkins doing all kinds of crazy stuff? So, yeah, how did it happen? So here we are. We graduate from high school in '98.
Yeah.
We go off and when did you meet your husband and get married?
I met my husband right after like graduation.
Okay.
So
you were still relatively young.
1999 is when we started dating. July 1999. So literally a year after we graduated is when it was official.
Okay.
And then we immediately started to have kids, or try to have kids, because that's, that was our generation. Like we played house. Like we immediately played house.
Yeah.
And I say that because my son, who turns 24, man, he had like all of these rules and regulations. Like he didn't want to be serious with anyone till he graduated from college. Like he wanted to do this. He wanted to do that. Like him playing house, like that was not, he didn't want to do it. That wasn't.
Yeah. My oldest, who's 20, is the same way.
Like not even an option.
Yeah. She doesn't care. She's like, I don't. The other day she was like she wasn't sad, but she was acting like a little low energy. I said, "You all right?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm good." And I was like, "You having boy problems?" She goes, "Come on,
Not that.
Yeah, exactly.
Not that.
But
No.
the generation played house.
We went right into playing house.
So how old were you when your oldest was born?
Was 21. So, but we had 4 miscarriages before him.
Okay.
So we were officially dating July 99. I think I got pregnant the first time, honestly, like September 99. Had 4 miscarriages, finally had him, buy a house. I'm still kid, so, I'm still very much rough around the edges.
Yes. Just for context purposes, like I don't try to hype people up too much, because the thing is I'm always like, man, like the people I grew up with were like gangsters, and everybody says that now, but like you were really like
a gangster.
You were about it.
I was about it.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So and your husband didn't really come from that environment?
No.
Okay.
Like his birthday is 4/20.
Okay.
He had never even smoked.
Didn't
Like,
even know that was a
didn't
thing.
even know it was a thing.
Yeah.
So me, who was complete pothead at that time,
Yeah.
birthday comes around, I'm hyped. I'm
Yeah.
like, we're about to smoke. And he's like, I don't smoke. And I'm like, oh. And he didn't drink either. I was like, I don't see how this is gonna
Yeah.
this is gonna work.
I always wondered, right? Because like I don't know a lot about Lloyd. I really don't even know Lloyd. I've
Yep.
met him a few times, but I knew he wasn't from like the east side
No.
in the way that you were.
Yep.
And so I was like, dang man, like maybe opposites attract.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So he's from the west side, but he's more like not hood. Like he grew up from the hood, but he was just there because he was poor. Like he didn't really indulge in
Yeah.
like any of the anythings.
Yeah.
So we buy a house. I'm still rough around the edges, so I'm quitting jobs, right? So, he's like trying to motivate me, you want to go to school, you want to do this, you want to do that. And I'm like, nah. And I would get a job.
Yeah.
And I would go there, and by lunchtime, I've made my decision if I'm ever coming back again.
Yeah.
And so lunchtime would come, and I would leave. I'd be like, I'm out.
Yeah.
You don't even got to worry about this little $12 check. Like, I'm not even coming back for this check.
Yeah.
And then we waited 5 years to have my daughter. And then, life begins. It's school, it's work, it's, then entrepreneurship we added
Yeah.
to our lives, which is a whole different animal.
Oh, entrepreneurship is I think we can get into that and we will.
Yeah.
I think it's connected to our primal abilities to hunt, right? Because like as an entrepreneur, like that's what you're doing. You're hunting. You're out. Like there's no guarantee there's gonna be
Anything.
food on the table. Like, but the upside of that is really good, So did Lloyd go to college?
He went to PC, like we all did, then dropped out. And then he went back to school like 10 years ago. And
okay.
And I make fun of him all the time. I'm like, you only went to school so that our son Atlas wouldn't get the first generation.
So he wouldn't be the first generation college
I'm like,
graduate.
you waited till you were 35 to go back to
Yeah.
school, only to snag it from our son.
Yeah.
So he did. He ended up going back to ASU, got his bachelor's degree.
You didn't do it.
I'm not doing it.
Yeah, and you know what? I tried. Like I like to learn. I love to learn.
I'm the same.
I love to learn, but school is too rigid. And I think that if you are very fortunate, which our kids are, to be able to go to school right after high school and to like kind of have that family support and things like that, then it's an amazing experience for a young person. But when you try to go back at, like for me, when I tried to go, I was probably around 32. I liked it, but I also was like I had taught classes at ASU, like as a guest teacher, right?
Yeah.
And now I'm in classes, and some of the professors are like using me as examples, and it was all cool. But also I was like, I don't have time to just be kicking it. There's money out here to make.
I didn't like school. Like I didn't like really anything about school. Like I was really smart. Like my freshman year, I had my freshman and my sophomore credits.
Yeah.
Which then just gave me to go ahead to fuck off my sophomore year because I got 0 credits my sophomore year. Perfect attendance.
Yeah.
0 credits. I just didn't like school. I didn't feel like I was learning like things that I actually needed to learn.
Well, yeah, in high school, we're
kind of at that. You're at that place where, for me, high school was, this is it. Like I don't have a whole lot of time to waste. You know, if something is gonna happen, like if there's gonna be something that's gonna change my life, and I'm gonna be a scholar, or change my life, and I'm gonna be a professional, this is the time that it's supposed to happen. And there was nothing that like pushed me into that direction. And so it was quickly like a waste of time.
I I agree. I think education is important, right?
Yep.
And I think that it's the foundation of any really resilient or successful community. But
Yep.
the structure in which we have created, like what do they call that? The assembly line
Yep.
type of um, industrial
Mhm.
educational
Mhm.
system. It's not conducive to learning in the way that, at least for me,
Yep.
I needed,
Yep.
and I you know this, like I didn't go to school at all. I think by the end of the 4 years of high school, I had like 3 credits maybe, but I was there all the time, and I
Yep.
learned the social
Yep.
aspects
Yep.
of it. And like, I'm not advocating for anyone to like drop out of high school,
Yep.
but like my thing is I tell people all the time, like, I'm successful. The reason why I'm successful is because I chose to think of education as not a place where you go,
Yep.
but a mindset that you can get education
From anywhere.
any place.
I can watch a movie, I can watch a
Yeah.
commercial, and what's really funny about that is I always thought that it was like my insecurity. So it was my insecurity because I didn't go to college.
Yeah.
So I really put myself in a position to be open-minded to learn in any room that I was in.
Mhm.
Whether it's music, whether it's a commercial, whether it's whatever, like this is my opportunity to learn because I didn't go to college. And
Yeah.
so I always felt like it was an insecurity, and only to recently have I really owned like, no, like you should be like that anyways. Like
Mhm.
whether you go to college or not, you should go into a room, you should look at a commercial, you should hear a song, and you should try to learn something. Like that's the purpose of life, right? Is
Yeah.
for you to gather all of these tools and all of this information to get you from point A to point B, and that's not always going to happen like in a classroom.
Exactly. Yeah. So, what's funny is, just speaking of entrepreneurship, I too had those insecurities about not having a college degree. And the first business that I like started was a literary arts and youth development that I co-founded. And part of the reason why I was so adamant about co-founding this organization, like not just doing the work, but making it an organization, was because I felt like we would go into schools, and when schools found out I didn't have a degree, they kind of looked at me like, oh, this dude doesn't really know what he's talking about. But when you start an organization and you say, I'm a part of this organization and this is what we do, you become more official.
They don't even ask
They don't even ask
if you have a degree.
Exactly, right? And so, like, I believe I was destined to be an entrepreneur.
Which is, hold on, which is
Yeah.
absurd, right? Because you apply for a job and it's asking you for
Yes.
all of these credentials, right?
Yep.
But you can literally start an entire thing
Yeah.
that turns into, I don't know, Disney World that's been around for
Mhm.
100 years, and you didn't need a degree for that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we like shame like having a degree versus not having a degree when really it's a skill set.
Yeah.
Like my skill set, you can put me at probably any top exec in any big company. I'll run circles around him
Yeah.
easily.
Yeah.
You will run circles around him easily, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, a lot of it has to do with, I think, the fact that we grew up in an environment where survival was a necessary like skill to develop, how to survive in
Absolutely.
very adverse circumstances. And that can be applied anywhere,
Anywhere,
Yeah.
any scenario.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
when I'm in a boardroom full of like very highly educated,
Mhm.
I'm in a arts executive fellowship right now, the
Okay.
Lochner Foundation Fellowship. Anyways, it's really cool,
Yeah.
but everybody in there is like the CEO of these arts institutions, and I have a pretty prestigious position, but I'm
Yeah.
not a CEO
Yeah.
of the art institution. And people will ask, like, how do you feel so confident and comfortable in these spaces? And I don't say it, but in my head I was like, well, I've been shot at.
Right.
Like I've seen people almost beat to death. Like
Right.
I'm not trying to glorify that, but like,
but this is just a conversation.
yeah,
I can
like
have this conversation.
these people don't scare me. You know what I mean? Like I've been afraid in
I've
real
been like,
life.
right.
Yeah, I've been afraid in real life, so
Right.
this doesn't scare me.
This is nothing here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but which is why I'm really big on paying it forward to the next generation of like creating programs and opportunities that I think will benefit them, not to deter them from getting a formal education, but just to let them know that they got these are skills that you could develop that go anywhere, transferable skills.
Yep.
Right.
One thing about like higher education that I would say, like I was just anti like higher education. I'm anti the debt. I'm anti the spending the time and the money to learn a skill, to graduate and not actually have the skill like to be employed.
Or the skill is outdated.
Because it's taken you 4 years to get here.
Yep.
And as you see, things are constantly changing. So I was honestly like very much anti higher education, just even with my kids. I wouldn't say not to go to college, but I was not necessarily in the house promoting college. And then my son went to college. And what I did realize is...
Well, hold on real quick. Your kids didn't just go to college. They also went to private high school.
They did go to private high school.
They went to private high school, which to me is like a major accomplishment. Like,
absolutely.
And because like not only is private high school cost money, right?
Yep.
But the education is more rigorous.
Yes.
Right. Brophy is not a... easy school. It's not an easy school.
No. Right? And my son said that he was very much prepared. Went to ASU and he was like ready for it. But the thing that I do honor about college, and I do feel like we as a society should push the younger generation into college, it's really because it gives you a safe space to grow into adulthood.
Yeah, 100%.
Where we went from high school
to Coyote Bay.
Just like that. just like that.
Yeah.
College definitely gives you a 4-year span to like grow into your adulthood, to learn how to manage your money, your schedule, your livelihood, like all of these things. And for that, I'm very much an advocate of college.
Me too. Like both my older kids are my daughter just graduated from Scottsdale Community College and she's gonna pursue the 4-year degree, and then Bubba is going to Black Hills University in South Dakota next year to play football, but he's still going to be at a university. And so I'm all about it for every reason you said. Yeah. But the thing about it is that debt, if you can't figure out how to get that paid for, it may not be worth it, right? Because there's like...
it ain't even going to be worth it.
It's crazy how expensive going to school is.
It's $20,000 a semester.
That just doesn't make sense to me because there's so much more you could do with that kind of money. Now, as a parent, you would then have to become the professor, right? And you would have to guide your kid through. That's the other thing too, is you're kind of like passing them off to somebody else, you know, because at that age, they kind of need to get
out the house.
They need to get out the house and start to, get some other experiences.
Yep.
But again, think about what you can do, $20,000 a semester, investing that in a business. Oh, I just burped.
Or just even a retirement.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
That's 130, 20 and 4. That's $160,000.
Yeah. That's crazy.
To then, if you don't have a job,
and
paying interest on that.
And likely you're not going to get a job that's going to pay you enough money to pay that off in any realistic
time frame.
Unless you start your own business and you hit the nail on the head the first time,
the first
the
thought,
first time,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
it's crazy, man.
Yeah.
But
So for that transition period, I am an advocate for college. I'm not at all an advocate for starting your life off in debt.
no, absolutely not.
I'm no.
Debt is so. I feel like I've been trying to think why I feel so depleted every day, right? Because and I'm very blessed,
Yep.
right? But and I'm very busy, and I have 3 kids. I have multiple businesses. I'm trying to get the most out of life.
Yep.
And every night I just feel so depleted, but like not necessarily in a good way.
Yep.
In a like, damn, there's got to be more than this feeling. And I think it's because although I have had a lot of success, I still do have a lot of debt, right? Because I especially when as a parent, I wanted to give my kids everything I didn't have.
Yep.
Right. And then also once I started making like what we considered real money.
Yep.
I was like, well, I got to get an Infinity.
Yep.
Because that's like, that's
Yep.
what we drive.
Yep.
And then, and I was
Yep.
like, and then I got to get this and I got to get that and I got to have the big house and all of those things are great. But every month when you're watching all of that money go out and you're just like, bro, I don't care anymore. I want peace.
Man. So I have twofold questions for you. The first question is, so you said Bubba is going next year out of state.
Well, yeah, he leaves in July. So next month he leaves.
Next month.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
All right, listen. So Bubba and Alexis are not my biological kids. I only say that for math purposes because if you do the math, but also to respect that their father and things of that nature. But I've raised these kids under my roof for more than half their life.
Yep.
Right. I am ready for Bubba to go away for a little bit.
Yep.
We both need to go away for a little bit.
Yeah.
Right. Because, and now am I sad? A little bit.
Yeah.
He has a really good relationship with our youngest son. They're like, he's 9 and he's 17. So they're like, they play Fortnite together.
Yeah.
So that's beautiful. But I think that he needs to experience what the world really is and how to feel lonely and how to feel nervous because he's going to an entirely different climate.
Yep.
And it's weird because as a father, I feel like my son, they need to go away for a little bit, figure out what it is to be a man in this world. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And so I feel sad, but I also feel like, yeah, baby. Especially because this dude's driving my Infinity around. I'm paying that damn Infinity I thought I needed. He drives it.
I ain't even driving it.
He drives it. I can't wait to get my car back.
Okay.
So
that was the first question. And then the second thing was you were talking about like feeling depleted in all of these things with like the money and the debt and all that stuff. And one thing so when I first started entrepreneurship, we had, I don't know, I'm gonna say $5,000 in the savings.
Okay.
We go to Disneyland, stay there for a week, spend all $5,000 of the dollars.
I was gonna say you don't have $5,000 no more.
I don't have $5,000 no more. I haven't paid a car note. I haven't paid the mortgage. I haven't done any of those things. So I start my business off with literally $0 in the bank. We put a list on the refrigerator of, all right, things get tight. These are the things that we're going to have to get rid of, right? And when you grow up poor and you attain all those things, the thought of losing those things was like a failure, right? It was
1,000%.
like a failure. And then what I realized as I'm out here hustling and I'm bustling, the more that I'm trying to get, the more hustle and bustle it's requiring from me.
Yes.
So do I actually need that? One, I don't even need it. But do I want it enough to put in the extra 5-10 hours I'm going to need to pay for it? And I'm going to be honest, man, my list is no all the way down.
Yeah.
I don't need none of it.
Yeah.
I ain't even looking for it. I was blessed that when making good money, I paid off the majority of our debt. So we have no debt except for our house.
Yeah.
So no car debt, no student loan debt, no anything. We out here, you're grinding because you have these little kids. You want them to have everything that you didn't have. So I'm hustling. And then last year, my daughter decides that she's going to go to LSU.
Oh, dope.
So she just finished her first year out in Baton Rouge.
Wow.
And we dropped her off in August. And on the ride back, I could just feel the hustle oozing out of me, like with every breath. Like the need for that hustle is like no more.
Yeah.
Like I don't need to hustle for them to have this, and this. One, I've done literally the best that I can. I've tried to make all the best decisions that I can to get them further.
Mm-hmm.
You're at this age. Like you said, you need to go out, you need to figure it out, you need to learn how to budget, you need to do all these things. And like as I'm on the plane, exhaling, literally my motivation was like, man, I don't want to do nothing.
Yeah, I feel you.
I don't want to do nothing.
At least for a minute.
For a minute.
Yeah.
And so now the way that I look at everything is, do I really want to put in that work to have that?
Yeah.
And a lot of the times the answer is no, I don't need it.
Yeah.
I don't need it. Like my car right now, it's hot. It's all day. Like the AC went out. I was like, man, that's 7 G's. Man.
Guess I'm going to be hot.
I'm going to put on this yoga outfit, drive around. lose this water weight.
Yeah.
Man, I ain't giving up no 7 G's for no AC. I'll wait.
That's crazy.
It's crazy because it's 1,000 degrees outside.
It is.
But literally, I've just by all my thoughts, it's like, do I want to put in that time in that work for this thing?
Well, something that I heard that I think was really important. So this thing that I heard was that the true the true economy of wealth is time. Something to the point of like the true measure of wealth is not how much money you have, but how much time you have. Yep. That's really what it is, right? Yep. And one thing for me is I do appreciate having certain freedoms, right? They're not extravagant freedoms though. Like I like to go to the gym. I belong to a really nice gym, and that's like my daily gratitude and celebration to myself, right? I would love to take a nap every day for about 2 hours in the middle of the day, hottest point of the summer. I like to eat healthy, good and healthy. Those are like the 3 things that I think if I had those,
I'll be fine.
Like I would like to travel and I do enjoy traveling, but not at the cost of how much money it's going to cost and how much stress it's going to cost. Like,
and let me pick up this other client so I can pay for this vacation.
Right?
Like,
you know? Yeah. So I think the older I get, the more I'm like, all right, I want to make sure that my kids always have a safe place to land and to take risks. Right? Because I really do believe, especially when you're younger, right? You have that heart, that spirit. You want the nice things. You want, like,
Yep.
and that's good, right?
That's good. Yeah.
And I want my kids to have a safe place to launch from and to
Yep.
rest and
Yep.
things like that.
Yep.
I tell my 2 older kids in 4 years, we're selling our house. We're downsizing.
Yep.
I would like to either move. This is a big announcement. We may move to Austin, right,
Okay.
in Texas. That's just a weird thing because it's like I got family out there, and my younger child is really close with my cousins out there that are around his age. So it's like they would grow up high school together, right? But if not, we'll move to a smaller house here. But I told my older kids, I said, you'll always have a couch to sleep on. You may not have your own room, but like
you can come.
And it's a safe place to land. But like for me, I don't want a big house where everybody has their own room and get 3 guest bedrooms and like, no, man, that's.
And my first thought is responsibility.
Yeah.
Who's gonna clean it?
Who's gonna clean it?
How much is that mortgage versus how much a smaller mortgage is?
Yeah.
And what's funny is I go to yoga all the time, and I'm like friends like with this older gentleman, and as I was constantly going to yoga on the ledge about my daughter leaving out of state to go to college, this older man kind of like coached me through it. He was just like, just telling me like, this is how your emotions are going to show up. This is how, just coaching me, right? And when I came back from dropping her off, the first thing he said is, now go through your livelihood, your bills, and start downsizing.
Yeah.
Like he just said it like immediate. Mm-hmm. He was like, all the things that you have right now that you had to make sure that the home was comfortable for your kids, you no longer need that.
Yeah.
Start getting rid of it now. And so now, like I do, like I have my little spreadsheet of everything, and I'm constantly like going through and like, nope, I don't need Peacock and Netflix. One of y'all got to go. You just got to go. You just got to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so I definitely think that as we get older and the kids get older, I do think we appreciate time more, and we are more willing to relinquish letting things go. And it's not looked at as like a failure or I can't afford it. It's more like, no, this actually provides me freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like keeping up with the Joneses is
insane.
It's insane. Right?
And I don't want to do it.
I don't either, because first of all, who the fuck are the Joneses? And
I have
why
no idea.
and why are we keeping
up with them?
Y'all better come keep up with me.
While I'm at the exclusive gym.
And by keep up, I mean, you ready for this nap?
Right.
It is 2:00. It's time for my nap. It's all about, I'm really big on peace right now. I want to, and this is unscripted, right?
Yeah.
So we're just having a conversation. Yep. I want to talk a little bit about, like your yoga practice, because something that is a relatively new-ish journey for me, right, in the context of peace, and this like feeling depleted, right? Yep. So like 6 months ago, I was kind of in this space where I was just like, bro, I do not feel good, right? And I'm doing all of the things physically that I should be doing to feel good. I work out, I do the cold plunge. I do the sauna, like I have mindfulness, like all these things, and they work, but there's still this like void. And I realized, I was like, you know what, man, like I need to get back right with God for me. Right. And it's interesting because God is this very powerful word that can mean a lot of different things. And a lot of people think God and religion is not so great all the time, right? But like for me, it was about finding a connection to something that was bigger than me, so that I can rest to say, you know what, somebody got it. And to me, that's God.
Yep.
Right. And I got no shame about it whatsoever. Does that make me a religious person? No. Right. Makes me a spiritual person. It makes me a person that wants to learn about different religions and things of that nature. I rock with Jesus because to me, Jesus, why not?
You're right.
Especially Black Jesus.
Right.
Right?
Especially Black Jesus.
I rock with Black Jesus.
Jesus.
Just for the record.
Eat a homie.
You know me. Right? But like, so how does yoga come into your life, and is it because of something spiritual? Like, is this a spiritual journey for you?
Yes. So first of all, I love the righteous kinda.
Oh, thank you.
Like when I saw it, I was like, yes, 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 yes. Because ultimately that's like to me, that's top tier, right?
Yeah.
If you're righteous kinda. Because you don't want, like for me, like I don't want to be so righteous where now I can't be a human, right?
Well, so yeah, because so here's the thing about that. No human can ever be that righteous.
Right.
There's only one, like, strive for the righteous.
Right.
Learn from the kinda.
Right.
You know?
But that's the thing, though. In this society,
Yeah.
if you come across a certain way, oh, you too righteous, now everyone is looking at you like you can't make mistakes.
Yeah.
So the righteous kinda is like right there in your face. Like, look, I'm righteous. Kinda.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Yeah.
You know, some days I'm going to say good morning. Some days I'm going to walk past you.
Yeah. It just seems right to me. Like, it's funny because I really hope this thing takes off in a philosophical way, right?
Yes.
Because it really is evolving as I'm evolving, but it really is this idea that, look, man, the goal in life is to be the best human that you can be.
Yep.
Right. And in order to be the best human you could be, you have to understand the power of forgiveness.
Yep.
Forgive yourself first, and don't even try to put this false sense of like you have to be X, Y, and Z to be the best human. Like, no. Right? Like, if you're putting those expectations of perfection and
you
like
already
you're not
failing.
you're already failing.
Already failing.
And I don't know, like something about the way we grew